Hi, this is Dr. A. Welcome to Corner of Dr. A, where psychology meets everyday life. If I asked you what would make you mentally healthier, many people would answer less stress. It sounds reasonable, but neuroscience is beginning to paint a more interesting picture. Instead of thinking only about resilience, many scientists are describing something called stress fitness. The idea that much like physical fitness, our capacity to handle life's challenges grows through manageable stress followed by recovery. Notice those two words, manageable and recovery. They are the entire story. So think about our ancestors. For hundreds of thousands of years, life was uncertain. There were predators, harsh weather, injuries, food shortages, and unfamiliar environments. Evolution didn't design a brain that could avoid stress. It designed a brain that could detect danger, respond quickly, and then recover once the danger had passed. Your brain is constantly making predictions. Is this safe? Have I survived something like this before? Every experience updates those predictions. That's why resilience isn't something we are simply born with. It's something the brain continuously learning. Now, biologists have a fascinating concept called hormesis. It describes how small, manageable doses of stress can strengthen living systems. Exercise places tiny amounts of stress on muscle and they build stronger. Weight-bearing exercise encourages bones to become denser. Vaccines safely train the immune system before it encounters a real threat. Different systems, same principle. The nervous system appears to learn in a similar way, not from overwhelming stress, but from challenges that stretch us without breaking us. Inside your brain and body is an elegant communication network often called the stress response system. You don't need to remember its scientific name. Think of it as your body's fire alarm. When something feels threatening, the alarm sounds. Your heart beats faster. Your breathing changes. Stress hormones prepare your body to act. That's exactly what it's supposed to do. The problem isn't that the alarm goes off, but imagine buying the world's most advanced smoke detector. You'd expect it to activate when there was smoke. But if it continued blaring for 3 days after someone burned toast, you don't call it protective. You'd say it needs recalibration. Our stress system works much the same way. A healthy nervous system doesn't avoid sounding the alarm. It knows when to sound it and when it's safe to become quiet again. One of the most effective treatments for anxiety isn't convincing people that nothing bad will ever happen. It's helping people discover that they can handle uncertainty. So when we repeatedly avoid situations that feel uncomfortable but are actually safe, the brain never gets the chance to update its predictions. Experience teaches, I was uncomfortable, but I was okay. That isn't positive thinking. That is learning. Each manageable challenge becomes new evidence for the brain. Here is the part we often forget. Stress alone doesn't beat stress fitness. Recovery does. Think about athletes. They don't become stronger simply by lifting heavier weights every day. They become stronger because training is followed by sleep, nutrition, rest, and repair. Our minds work the same way. Sleep, movement, connection, laughter, reflection, moments of genuine calm. Recovery isn't the reward after stress. Recovery is part of the training itself. More than 2,000 years ago, the Stoic philosopher Epictetus wrote that while we cannot control everything that happens to us, we can shape how we respond. Modern neuroscience arrives at a remarkably similar insight. We cannot stop the brain from detecting challenges, nor should we want to. What we can strengthen is our ability to respond wisely, recover efficiently, and prepare for whatever comes next. This doesn't mean severe stress is good for us. It doesn't mean trauma makes people stronger. It doesn't mean anyone should simply toughen up. chronic abuse, neglect, discrimination, violence, and prolonged overwhelming stress can profoundly injure the nervous system. Healing those experiences often requires safety, relationships, and sometimes professional support. Stress fitness isn't about surviving the unbearable. It's about gradually expanding our capacity through challenges that are difficult enough to promote growth, yet manageable enough to allow recovery. That distinction matters. Instead of asking, how do I remove stress from my life, perhaps we should ask, how can I become more stress fit? Maybe it means finally making that phone call you have been avoiding, having that difficult conversation, setting a healthy boundary, trying something you have convinced yourself you are not the type of person to do. Each one is a small workout for your brain. Not because life suddenly becomes easier, but because your nervous system becomes more prepared to meet it. I will leave you with this. The strongest trees aren't the ones that never face the wind. They are the ones that bend, cover, and keep growing. Perhaps our minds aren't so different. If this resonated with you, please like, comment, share, subscribe on YouTube, and follow me on Instagram and TikTok. Until next time, take care of your mind, because your brain is always learning from the way you live. Thank you.